Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so once again, we have a post-lunch session, another important session. So hopefully you are with me on this one. The topic was biosafety and universal precautions, safety precautions. Most of the universal safety precautions I had already covered. That is mainly hand hygiene, barrier precautions like personal protective equipments, needle stick injuries, management of spill, and post-exposure prophylaxis. So in today's lecture, I'll only talk mostly about the biosafety aspect. Like I have been repeatedly telling you, you are now from into the medical world per se. So there is a very important aspect about this stream, that is the risk of exposure. It's like we are exposed to so many of them. So unless you know about that, there is very little chance that you will be able to survive through it. So today, everyone knows this symbol? Yeah? So that is a symbol for biohazard. Anything which is a hazard and biological in origin is known as a biohazard. If you play video games, you might have seen this symbol in certain games. Okay? So I'll start.
बचना ऐ हसीनों लो मैं आ गया ये बचना ऐ हसीनों लो मैं आ गया बचना.
So who is saying that? I am not saying. Bachna hai hasino. Lots of hasinos have joined, but that doesn't mean that divanos should be bindas. You also have to be bachna hai divano also. Okay, so this is the pathogens saying to you that since your admission, you have to be careful. Lots of pathogens you will encounter. So everyone knows this guy? Thanos. So how dangerous is he? Wiped out half of the planet, right? So if I tell you there is some other person who is more dangerous than him, what will you say? Is it possible? Yes. So in real life, more dangerous than Thanos would be this person. Okay? So we don't imagine this because we don't see it. Whenever a person sneezes or coughs, look at this. The amount of aerosols generated and droplets generated is enormous. We take it very lightly, but this is the truth. And this is actual photograph using infrared and laser technology. This is the actual propulsion of the particles which are expelled by a person who is sneezing or coughing or even talking. Imagine the pathogens in the respiratory system. They, in the form of droplets or droplet nuclei, are expelled into the environment and then they are transmitted to another host. Is this clear? So you can see some of the droplets, what we call, they are bigger and they immediately fall down due to gravity. You can see. So these bigger droplets with the pathogen, let's say SARS-CoV-2. Everyone knows SARS-CoV-2, the virus which causes COVID-19. So these droplets, they will fall down immediately, bigger ones, onto surfaces like this, table, your benches, etc. Clear? So they do not travel for more than 6 feet, that is 2 meters. That is why what we say for droplet transmission or droplet contact, when one touches such a surface, the virus or the particles will stick to the hands, and then you touch the exposed mucous membranes like eyes or nose, then you might get infected. So that is one mode of transmission that is known as droplet contact. So how will you avoid this? Frequent hand hygiene. Whenever you are touched some surfaces, especially high risk ones, then you will do hand wash. Social distancing. If the distance is more than 6 feet, you can see these droplets will not travel, right? So these are the concepts for droplet contact precautions. समझ गए ना? इतने 2 साल से सुन रहे थे, but now you understood why this is so. But when you talk about aerosols, these smaller particles, red particles, they are the droplets or those tiny particles which are expelled, and the droplets which undergo evaporation, they become very small, less than 5 micron, and they can travel very far. There is no limit of 2 meters or 6 feet. Understood? So some diseases like tuberculosis and SARS-CoV-2 under certain conditions does travel by the airborne route. So droplet contact is different, airborne route is different. For airborne route, even if you do social distancing, the aerosols are going to reach there. Even if you do hand hygiene, it is not going to stop. Because in airborne route, we will inhale those small particles which will enter our respiratory system and cause the disease. Classical case is tuberculosis. Understood? So for that, you need protection against the airborne transmission, which is mainly the N95 respirator and a good ventilation. So आज concept clear हुआ क्यों social distancing बोले हैं, hand hygiene, हाँ लोग सब सब्जी भी soap water से धो रहे थे, not needed. Do only what is needed. Now imagine if this person had worn a mask, 3-ply, or even a cloth mask, what would have happened? All the particles would have got trapped in that surgical mask and not gone into the environment, exposing others. So did you understand what is the use of a surgical mask or a cloth mask? It is mainly to prevent the others, whereas N95 is to prevent the user, because it is completely sealed. There is no chance that an aerosol can go inside this N95 mask. Whereas if you see surgical masks, they are open from the side. So while you are inhaling, you can easily inhale that aerosol. So previously, pre-pandemic, we used to give surgical mask only to the coughing patients, sneezing and coughing patient, so that their particles don't go into the environment. Clear? Or the surgeon, why does the surgeon wear it? Why is it called as surgical mask? Because the surgeon is operating in a sterile field. So when the surgeon is talking, the bacteria or the organisms in the surgeon's mouth does not transfer to the sterile field. Understood? It is never for the protection of surgeon. Understand this, pre-COVID. It was never for the protection of the surgeon. It was to protect the sterile field. समझ रहे हो? So what has happened in the last 2 years? You can see this. Why is this lecture so important on biosafety? Thankfully, everyone seems to be attentive, even though it is post-lecture, post-lunch. See this, see the numbers. Without any doubt, all the healthcare workers are at much higher risk than the general population. This is European number, 17,000 healthcare workers have died in the whole of Europe. For Maharashtra, about 292 have died. This is in the first wave. And in the second wave also 178 succumbed. These are not the final figures actually. It's more than that. Clear? So not just COVID, but as healthcare workers, as future healthcare workers, you will be exposed to lots and lots of microorganisms which are potentially dangerous. So unless you take this seriously today, you will land up in fix. Believe me, there have been many people who have retrospectively enlightened to this, and then it's too late. Once you get infected with something, it is very difficult to do anything about it. Like pathogens like hepatitis B or HIV. Understood? So that also you will encounter. Tuberculosis you will encounter. I am sure you have heard something like MDR-TB, multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. Have you heard this term? So it is a tuberculosis strain which does not respond to the normal line of treatment, first line of treatment. So that takes about 2 years to treat. And these are all very strong, very toxic drugs. They cause hepatitis, which is inflammation of the liver. They cause neuropathy. So what will you prefer? Prevention against them or their treatment? Clear? So you will obviously prefer the prevention. So this is obviously not from India. You can see all these are healthcare workers who succumbed to COVID-19 in the last 2 years. So hopefully we will not forget them. Similar picture you have from Indian healthcare workers also. Many of them succumbed to the infection. Initially, no one knew actually what to do. So this is like, see, this lecture will not just prepare you for COVID, but a host of pathogens. That is why the term is standard precautions. Standard precautions means you assume that everything around you is infectious, potentially infectious, and you take necessary precaution. The patient may be HIV negative for all you know. But if you took precautions, what's the harm in it? Whenever you are touching a blood sample, wear gloves. Even if the patient is a VIP. Don't assume, अरे ये तो अच्छे घर से है ना, इसको थोड़ी HIV रहेगा. You won't believe how many HIV positives we get from अच्छे घर. Understood? So the concept is everything is potentially infectious, especially when you are starting your clinical postings from next year onwards. This you should keep in mind. We still see so many interns who grab the samples without gloves and run to the lab क्योंकि late हो गया है, sample submit नहीं, वो लेंगे नहीं. So that is not the way to go. So all this pre-COVID, we have been telling everyone. And what is their reply? हाँ मालूम है चल, अपने को मत सिखा. I will just shorten the dialogue. Clear? So I don't want this to be you guys. You have come after COVID. After COVID, now people are realizing of what we have been blabbering since ages. Infection prevention control. We have been trying to convince them कि hand hygiene करो, N95 कैसा डालना है, PP कैसा डालना है. नहीं मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है भाई. इधर 100 पेशेंट्स कौन देखेगा? But that is also as important as seeing the patient. You should understand this. Preventing an infection to the patient is also your responsibility. Everyone knows do no harm is our principle. First, do no harm to the patient. If the patient is being admitted under your care for certain condition, ensure that the patient does not go back with some another infection. So once you apply these precautions, it not only prevents transmission of infections to yourself, but also to your colleagues, to the patient and the community as a whole. Clear? So these are some figures. Overall occupational biohazard. So in this case, I am talking about occupational biohazard in healthcare workers. About 4% mortality, mainly bacterial infections, viral infections, rickettsia, all this you will come to know in the future. So I am not going into details, but you should understand what is biohazard. Agent of biological origin has the capacity to produce harmful effects on humans. Example are microorganisms, toxins, allergens derived from these organisms, and genetically engineered biological substance. Why is this so important? Because most of the microorganisms we cannot see with naked eyes. Simple example I will give you. How many of you are localites from Mumbai? You travel by train, right? ट्रेन में जब चढ़ोगे in the peak hours and you see a nice empty seat, which is a very rare event, और तुम एकदम खुश, अरे वाह सीट है, विंडो सीट भी है, वो भी भाग भाग के जा रहे हो, and then you see there is something dirt there, maybe someone has vomited and all, That is why no one has sat on this chair, on that seat. देखा है ना बहुत बार. So because we can visibly see that. Understood? If you would have been able to visualize the microorganisms, would you react in the same way you are reacting now? इधर मैं हाथ लगा के आँख को ऐसा कर रहा हूँ, नाक में उंगली डाल रहा हूँ. Would you do that if you would be able to see the SARS-CoV-2 which is lying on that table? So understand the importance of hand hygiene. Social distancing, very difficult to maintain in India, I agree. Ventilation and N95 respirator use were required, obviously. So biosafety, whatever I am teaching you now is the theoretical knowledge, safety from biological hazards. But I want you to practice this. Understand this. That is more important. Rather than just getting the theoretical knowledge when you will be when you will be interns or you will be resident doctors, if you implement whatever is being taught, that is more important. Trust me, they were like behind us कि अभी train करो during peak COVID, when there was actually no time to train. When we used to call the resident doctors for training, they never used to come because time नहीं है, patients बहुत है. And when COVID came, then that time they were saying कि हमारा training लो, PPE कैसा डालना है वो भी मालूम नहीं है हमको, N95 कैसा डालना है वो भी मालूम नहीं. Clear? So what is risk? Risk तो हम लोग ने सुना ही है बहुत बार. Risk है तो इश्क है. So everyone has heard this term risk. So what do you mean by risk? Actually, what do you mean by risk is probability of harmful health effect as a risk of exposure to a hazardous substance. So I am talking mainly about risk from biological organisms. And very important, risk is a function of hazard and exposure. A simple example I'll give, see. Shark is a hazard, yes or no? Shark is a potential hazard for us. But if you are not exposed to it, if the shark is behind a glass in the aquarium, do you have a risk? No. Understood? So hazard is there, but the exposure is not there. So anytime when you break certain chain, you will stay protected. Similarly, if SARS-CoV-2 virus, the hazard is, biohazard is present, but you are wearing gloves and not touching your eyes and nose without doing a hand hygiene, you are not having that exposure. You are doing bronchoscopy of a TB patient, positive pulmonary tuberculosis positive patient, aerosols were released, so biohazard is there, but to reduce the exposure, you worn the N95 mask, plus open the windows or have a mechanical ventilation, so now the risk is less. Are you getting my point? So just hazard being there is not the issue. Understand that we will always be surrounded by biohazards. As healthcare workers, once you enter outside this classroom where there are not many biohazards because this is not a clinical area. Once you step into the clinical area like wards, ICUs, OPDs, casualty, there will be so many biohazards around you. So you can't say, soldier cannot say कि मैं इधर से मुझे बुलेट लग रही है तो मैं काम नहीं करूंगा. Understood? So you have to focus on the exposure part and vulnerability part. Understood? So once you reduce your exposure, you will be protected from the biohazard. Now this person is under risk of being eaten by the shark. Suppose this person cannot swim at all, then it is surely the risk is more, right? So that is known as vulnerability. So you have to realize this. Why I am telling you, when you will be interns or resident doctors, there will be certain colleagues of yours who may be vulnerable than you. Please realize that. COVID duty लगाया, अरे इसका नहीं लगाया, मेरा क्यों लगाया? Don't do that. There are specific reasons for that. There are certain people who are indeed vulnerable, so you have to keep them out of risk. Clear? So which of these two specimens is a greater risk? What do you think? One is urine, other is blood. Blood. Okay? So mainly it depends on the hazard and exposure. Agent hazard means whatever microorganism you are concerned with, and procedure hazard also. All of you said blood, but if the procedure is such that I am just labeling the container, so hazard is less. But urine, I am going to open the container and remove and do some kind of procedure which may cause aerosol generation. Understood? So there the risk is more with urine than the blood. समझ रहे हो? तो procedure is also similarly important in determining the risk. उसको risk assessment बोलते हैं. So all this risk assessment you should do before starting the procedure. So what will your mind think? What is the agent in question? What are the sources of infection? What are its modes of transmission? Does it cause human infection? And what is the infective dose? Simple example. 2 years back, did you see everyone wearing mask? Simple. Why? Because the risk was less. Whatever is being followed today is known as universal masking. Because you have a huge amount of asymptomatic positive individuals, we are telling for everyone to mask properly so that the person when talking, sneezing or coughing does not transmit the virus which is currently in a large prevalence. अभी कम हो गया है तो maybe masking may be removed. There is news that it may be removed in 1 or 2 months. Understood? Which has happened already in the developed countries. So understand why universal masking as a concept is there. It is not to protect yourself, it is to protect the others. क्या होता है तुम किसी को बोलोगे अरे why you have worn mask like this? देखा है ना इसे? Or not worn mask? What they will say? अरे तेरा क्या जा रहा है? Understood? So you have to, तो वो बोलेंगे हमको होएगा ना कोविड होएगा तो तुमको क्या है मैंने मास्क नहीं पहना तो. That is the concept. The mask is to protect others. कोई बोलेगा मेरे को ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिलता है, कोई बोलेगा CO2 मैं जो एक्सपेल कर रहा हूँ वही फिर से ब्रीथ इन कर रहा हूँ. We have heard this. So it is up to you to quell their misconceptions. So what is the agent in question you should know. So if you are posted in a TB hospital versus a general hospital like KM is a general hospital, you have TB wards. But whoever comes positive, they are shifted to Shivdi TB hospital. So obviously greater number of TB patients will mean more source for infection, more hazard and more biohazard risk. HIV versus HBV, I have told you this in previous lecture. HBV is much more transmissible than HIV. 30% transmissible. If a person non-immunized against hepatitis B is exposed to hepatitis B positive blood or body fluid, then there is a 30% chance that you will acquire the infection. Clear? HIV now is very low. Prevalence is also reducing because of that grand campaign which has been carried out for years. HIV ke against. So it has reduced. HIV versus Ebola. Have you heard Ebola? So before COVID there was Ebola. It mainly was in the African countries. So Ebola spreads via contact. So it is, and plus they are highly infectious. So unka digging ritual bhi alag. They used to dig them very deep down and no one used to be ready to see the dead bodies. Understood? So for that, all this we will cover when you come to second year. You will see where the pathogen is, how it is transmitted. So TB kaisa spread hota hai? Airborne route, like I said. So patient has to sneeze, cough or talk. HIV वैसे spread hota hai kya? Nahin. So all these points you should know, for which pathogen, what kind of precautions you need. That is the risk assessment. Modes of transmission, quickly I will go through. Contact मतलब क्या? Straight away हाथ लगा दो. That is a direct contact. So certain skin diseases will spread via direct contact, like fungal infections. Okay. Then droplets, what I told you, when a person sneezes, coughs or talks, the larger droplets, they will fall on the surface, and droplet contact is when you touch them and touch your exposed mucous membranes. Our skin is protective, intact skin is protective, but your mucous membranes are exposed. So that example is of transmission is diphtheria, mumps, rubella, pertussis, influenza also. So H1N1, you have heard this, swine flu, H1N1. H5N1 is avian flu, bird flu. Inhalation are those smaller particles for which more important is the N95 respirator and ventilation. So example is tuberculosis, measles, herpes zoster and SARS-CoV-2 in certain settings like small room not ventilated or a room in which aerosol generating procedures are being done. Understood? So even if people are with surgical mask here, with cloth mask here, it's fine. Because there is no aerosol generating procedure being done here right now. But if you are in bronchoscopy room with a surgical mask or cloth mask, it's not fine. Samajh rahe ho? In the wards, if you are going, preferably wear something higher than either surgical mask or N95. Don't wear cloth mask. समझ रहे हो ना कैसे रिस्क तुम्हारा चेंज होगा. Sitting in a classroom, there is no risk against the biohazard. But going into the wards, your risk increases tremendously. And obviously, inoculation, I have told you, needle stick injuries during recapping or scalpel se cut hoega to HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C virus and other pathogens. Ingestion, this is seen in the community as well. Pani puri khaya bahar ka, next दिन lose motion हो गया. So ingestion is the route of transmission for that particular box. Okay, quiz. Can you identify this scientist? Yeah? Dr. Bruce Banner, very famous scientist. Everyone knows? So do you have a risk from this guy? You don't. Now what about this? Understood? So how do you determine the risk? It is known as agent risk groups. So group 1 is they are not likely to cause human diseases. Individual risk is very low, community risk is very low, and examples are plant pathogens. So this will come mainly in research. We don't encounter group 1 organisms that much. Group 2, they may cause human diseases, but not serious diseases, are treatable, very important. Normal treatment, there is established treatment for these diseases. Individual risk is there, moderate, but community risk is very low. Very classical example, have you heard this organism, Staphylococcus aureus? So community में उसको इतना danger नहीं है. एक person को हुआ, उसको boil आएगा या ulcer आएगा. Not a serious infection. If you take amoxicillin plus clavulanic acid, you may be treated. So most of the organisms which you will encounter will be risk group 2. Understood? What about risk group 3? Yes, they cause human infections. They are serious respiratory agents most of the time. Vaccine is available. They are treatable. Individual risk is very high. Plus, it is a very big issue in the community. So, classical example here is tuberculosis. Community ko risk hai bahut bada. It has a vaccine, right? BCG is for tuberculosis. It is treatable. TB is treatable. Group 4, Disease causation in humans, yes. Very serious, often fatal infections, non-treatable, no vaccines available. Classical example is Ebola. So community risk also there, individual risk is also high. HIV is treatable, na? Now you have antiretroviral therapy, ART. So few years back you did not have a good treatment against HIV. Now there is a very good management against HIV. You have very nice, it is known as highly active antiretroviral therapy, HAART, HAART. So they are very good. You become as good as a normal person once you stop the multiplication of HIV in the body. So you are right, it is not a treatment per se, but it is very nicely manageable. You live a normal life. There are very few, just 2 or 3 persons who have been completely cured of HIV. So she is right in a sense that it is not treatable. So why I am showing you this chart? Understand this, when in March 2020, COVID-19 came or SARS-CoV-2 came, which group do you think it belonged to? 4, very good. So it was a risk 4. Now you have vaccine against it. Now you have maybe established treatment protocols, which are still dicey, I would say. So now it has come to risk group 3. समझ गए? So what are the personal and procedure factors influencing risk? This is very important. So immunosuppression, illness or disease, pregnancy, allergies. So any person, pregnancy is kind of a immunosuppressed state. Please understand this. So don't say during residency, अरे इसको क्यों नहीं COVID duty लगाया? If that lady is pregnant. Understood? Or what do you mean by immunosuppression? Do you know any immunosuppressed states? Anyone? Yeah? जोर से बोलना, गलत हुआ तो भी चलेगा. किसने बोला? So HIV, people living with HIV, it is immunodeficiency, na? AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So that is one immunosuppressed state. Second, people on steroids. Understand this, steroids reduces your immunity. That is why you got so many mucormycosis, because in second wave, lots of steroids were used improperly. That is why you never used to get so many cases of mucormycosis. These are all opportunistic fungi. They do not, generally do not cause disease in the immunocompetent. Understood these terms? Immunocompetent, immunosuppressed और immunocompromised. हाँ, ये तुमको आगे समझेगा. Another immunocompromised is patients taking anti-cancer drugs. Understood? So these drugs also cause immunosuppression. Patients who have received transplants, they need to be put on steroids. So again, immunosuppressed. Diabetes in itself is a immunosuppressed condition. It lowers the immunity. Diabetes mellitus. Understood? Procedure, this was the agent, not the agent, the host factors. Previous slide. This slide is what procedure you are doing. समझ रहे हो? So like I said, if you were just told to label a blood container, not much risk. But here you are doing intubation or ambu bag to the patient, then you can see it has direct connection with the respiratory tract, and if at all the patient is having tuberculosis or SARS-CoV-2, all these aerosols are going to be going in the environment. समझा मैं क्यों बोल रहा था ब्रोंकोस्कोपी के टाइम N95 is a must. So don't take it lightly. अरे मैं तो नॉर्मल वार्ड में 3 ply से घूमता हूँ तो ब्रोंकोस्कोपी को क्यों पहनना है? N95 makes it difficult to breathe, right? Those who don't have that habit, they will know. It's very difficult to breathe into the N95. So don't err on that side. कि अरे मेरे को तो अच्छा breathing चाहिए. प्रोटेक्शन कम रहेगा तो भी चलेगा. Don't err on that side. When N95 is required, you wear N95. Don't cry in retrospect. Understood? Can the biohazard risk be reduced? Yes. Like I said, shark को कांच के पीछे डाला तो risk is less, minimal. So how do you do that? Risk assessment, containment. Containment means to put it in a container. And personal protection, which I have already covered in the previous lecture. What is biocontainment? Prevents the dissemination of biohazardous agent. Purpose is to reduce or eliminate exposure of potentially hazardous agent. So can it be zero? Potential to cause infection? Never. Now you have become healthcare workers. There will always be significant risk to you. समझ रहे हो? It can never be zero. But our aim or our goal should be to bring it as close to zero as possible. If you go in a COVID ward without an N95, without wearing PPE, there is a very high chance you will get infected with COVID-19. But if when I put an N95 on, wear the PPE, the risk is considerably reduced. It will never be zero. Can it be zero? मैं सब कुछ डाल के कोविड वार्ड में जा रहा हूं और मेरे को होएगा ही नहीं है, ऐसे तो नहीं है ना. But still, if you take the precautions, it is considerably lesser. So all these things you have to see the chain. You have to follow all the proper practices and procedures which I taught you in the first lecture. That is safety precautions, universal safety precaution. Design and engineering controls. If this room was not ventilated, these windows were closed. All these windows were closed. It's a big room, agreed. Suppose one of you is keeping on coughing without a mask on. What will happen if there is no ventilation? There is a high chance that the others will also get infected. So you need engineering control also. Don't forget that. Now you can see it's so hot, but still some of the ACs have kept off. Garam ho raha hai na? Why was AC kept off? This was during the COVID period. Because AC generally recirculates air without filtering. So anyone who is breathing out COVID or SARS-CoV-2 will again go and be recirculated. Clear? So how will you minimize risk of HIV transmission while processing blood specimens? Anyone? So follow standard precautions and droplet precautions. Standard precautions here will be use of gloves while handling clinical specimens. None of you, when you become interns, should hold any sample without gloves. If you are working in SARS-CoV-2 lab, that is COVID lab, you have to follow standard precautions, contact precautions, ड्रॉपलेट प्रिकॉशन एंड एयरबोर्न प्रिकॉशन. समझ गए कैसे चेंज हो रहा है? सिर्फ ब्लड कलेक्ट करना है, सिर्फ ग्लव्स डाले तो भी चलेगा, स्पेशली व्हेन देयर इज नो पैंडेमिक गोइंग ऑन. सिर्फ फ्लेबोटॉमी करना है, वीनस ब्लड कलेक्ट करना है. बट नाउ यू आर गोइंग टू वर्क इन अ कोविड लैब. तुमको ग्लव्स भी डालने, पीपीई किट भी डालना है, because you will and plus have to wear the N95 respirator. So all your precautions will be there. If you are doing sputum specimen, so follow the airborne precautions. समझ रहे हो? How it varies from procedure to procedure. 3-ply versus N95 I have already covered. 3-ply mainly for the protection to others. N95 is mainly for the protection of the user. Why I am stressing on this point? Understand, सबको चाहिए तो N95 चाहिए रहेगा ना, अगर मिल रहा है तो. What will you prefer, a 3-ply or N95? If I am giving you free N95, N95 because it offers more protection. But understand, there are situations in which you don't need an N95. This is known as rationalization. Sitting in the classroom, you don't need N95. I am wearing one. These guys are wearing one, not needed. If you are wearing, you are accustomed to the breathing inside it, then okay. But it's not a necessity. अंडरस्टूड? रोड पे तुम बॉम्ब प्रूफ जैकेट डाल के नहीं घूमते हो ना, just because some terrorist might attack. Understood? So you have to see the risk around it. Spill, we have covered this. कौन बताएगा फिर से? How to cover, handle the spill? जल्दी बोलो. One person. Very good. Lift it and put it in the yellow bag. Again put a absorbent. Put 1% sodium hypochlorite. हाँ, तो वो absorbent डालने के पहले तो ना उठाना चाहिए था ना ग्लास. हाँ, so raise an alarm. That's okay. You make mistakes and you learn. You raise an alarm. Rightly said. First thing, raise an alarm. ऐसा करके भाग नहीं जाना है. Raise an alarm, tell everyone there is a spill here, wear the personal protective equipment, take a forceps, pick up the glass particles if at all, put it in the sharps can or cardboard box, put a absorbent material, keep it for some time, lift everything up, put it in the yellow bag, again put an absorbent, put 1% sodium hypochlorite, wait for 10-15 minutes, lift everything up, put in yellow bag and then chindi marna. Understood? They call it chindi. It is called as chindi in the wards. You go to the wards. Either chindi maro re. Huh? So chindi last marna hai, because that chindi which is used on that blood, it will go to the doctor's room, it will go to the lunch room, everywhere. Samajh gaye? So what is biosafety? Application of practices, facility and safety equipment. समझ के ले लो कि everything needs to be there. It's if even a one part of the chain is not there, it's no use. I have the facility, I have good ventilation, but I am not following the practices. I have worn N95 like this and doing the bronchoscopy. No use. I have the facility, there is ventilation, I am not provided N95 only. So that is safety equipment is missing. Still, I am at risk. समझ रहे हो? So it should be a combination of everything. You should be provided with the personal protective equipments. You should inculcate that habit of following certain practices, like not eating in a ward. When your clinical posting starts, patient के बेड पे बैठ के उधर बिस्किट मत खाओ. People do this. और यू ऊपर तभी तो एकदम जोश में रहते हैं ना. यू लर्न ऑल दिस इन फिजियोलॉजी, इंस्पेक्शन, पाल्पेशन, परकशन. कोई तो एक बंदा तुम लोग में से शर्ट खोलेगा, उस पे होएगा फर्स्ट ईयर में. देन सेकेंड ईयर यू विल गेट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम आई एम गोइंग टू टच द पेशेंट्स. वाओ, आई एम गोइंग टू पाल्पेट ऑन द पेशेंट्स एंड देन यू विल टच वन पेशेंट एंड देन नॉट डू हैंड हाइजीन. सब जितने भी उधर बेड पे सोए सबके पेशेंट्स का लीवर और ये देखना है, अपेंडिक्स. अंडरस्टूड? सो यू मे ट्रांसमिट द बैक्टीरिया फ्रॉम वन पेशेंट टू द अनदर unless you do hand hygiene in between two patients. So start this from second year itself. Why? Like I said, the surgeon may be doing good hand hygiene. Surgeon has operated appendix patient. Now there is a scar post appendectomy. Surgeon has done nicely hand hygiene. For dressing he is doing nice hand hygiene. He is doing everything. Nurse is doing good hand hygiene. Second year student goes, मेरे को आज अपेंडिक्स का केस देखना है. Goes, touches one patient, then goes and touches another patient without doing hand hygiene. All the efforts of the surgeon, nursing, ward boys, dressers, everyone goes to waste. समझ रहे हो? So unless you know these concepts, it is not going to work. Why we are stressing so much? Hospital acquired infections are preventable. Certainly. You know this person? It is Ignaz Semmelweis. So he is the father of hand hygiene. कभी बताया उसने 1861 में और 1847 कुछ तो इधर ये अलग है. So 1847 he told the importance of hand hygiene. मैं जो बोल रहा था ना, blabbering. He is blabbering from 1847. No one heard him. And 2 दिन पहले कोविड आया, 2 साल पहले कोविड आया. That fear, now everyone is washing the hands after so many years. Understood? So what if, more than a knee-jerk reflex, if we inculcate this as a habit, then there is no need to stress on these points. अभी सब पूछ रहे मास्क कभी जाएगा, कितना दिन और हाथ धोना पड़ेगा. These are some normal things which need to be done. This is nothing special. Wearing a mask if you are having sneezing and coughing is a normal thing. It should always be done. इंडिया में कभी है क्या ऐसा लॉजिक? मास्क में थूकना भी रहेगा तो and you spit on the road. Understood? So, just as a fun fact, this guy, no one listened to his story and later he developed psychosis. This is the truth. Ignaz Semmelweis. He went mad because no one listened to his advice of washing hands. What had happened? Do you know this story? Anyone knows? So what used to happen? There were 2 units and 1 gynec units, gynec and obs. For delivery, 1 unit, the nurses used to come and deliver. And for the another unit, the doctors used to come and deliver. And it was seen that the post-natal infections, or what you call as puerperal sepsis, in the group in which nurses used to deliver was very less. And the infection rate in the group where doctors were delivering was high. अरे अपन तो डॉक्टर है, मैं तो एमबीबीएस सीख रहा हूं, मैं कैसे नर्स से कम हो सकता हूं, right? But what was happening at that time? Doctor used to do everything. Doctor used to do autopsy and come and do the delivery. And what the doctor did not do in between was hand hygiene. So Semmelweis advocated the use of chlorinated lime water to wash between once you do the autopsy and come and do the hand hygiene. And the nurses used to follow hand hygiene very well. And this is true even after 240-50 years, whatever jo bhi ho gaya. Today, if you see nursing students and nurses follow better precautions, I'm sorry to say, than the doctors. I'll say this on record. अपन तो एमबीबीएस कर रहे हैं, अपन बड़ा आदमी बन रहे हैं, अपने को क्या होने वाला है? ये सब क्या फालतूगिरी, हाथ क्या धोने का? मैं तो पेशेंट को ठीक कर दूंगा. कुछ इन्फेक्शन हो भी गया तो मैं एंटीबायोटिक्स दे के ठीक करूंगा. It's not like that. Trust me. Clear? Last, respiratory etiquette. Does anyone know what is respiratory etiquette in India? Practically non-existing. So what that means is, whenever you are getting a sensation or coughing or sneezing, you are expected to close your mouth and nose both. What will you do for that? Most ideal is to use a tissue paper, single use tissue paper, or a handkerchief if you are the only person using that handkerchief. Sharing मत करो भाई, अरे तूने आज नहीं लाया क्या हैंकी, मेरा यूज कर. So only person using that handkerchief. Third preference would be corner of the elbow. Last preference would be the hand. Why is that? Mostly तो हम ऐसे करते हैं ना. What happens when you use hands? All the organisms will be present on your hand, and then you will go and touch. Now, like I am touching the mouse, I have touched the keyboard. Understood? So it will transmit the pathogen. If you are using the hand, then immediately afterwards do hand hygiene. Clear? So there is a very nice CDC ka if you Google this, you will find that this image. So wash with soap and water or clean with alcohol based hand sanitizer. And this, kuch to sharam karo janab. For what I am kept this here, those people who spit on roads. I don't know why they do that. और आवाज sound effects के साथ. I really don't know why. India is a country in which has the highest number of cases of tuberculosis, and still people spit on roads. Color करते हैं वो तो अलग ही बात है, वो red color से पूरा हो जाता है. But it transmits so many infections. So next time you have to do this. Any person you see spitting on the road, you should say, कुछ तो शर्म कर भाई. Otherwise, they are not going to improve. We do that. You can see it in the campus. Trust me, कभी घूमे हो KM में, campus में? कल से note करो. कितने minute जाते हैं कि you won't see a person who has spat on the road. Just see. You will see that. And when we ask them to actually give the sputum, they give saliva. तभी सिर्फ ऐसे थूकते थू. और जब खांसी करना है रास्ते पे थू. So I don't know what is the logic behind it. Lastly, to err is human. All of us will make mistakes. We have made mistakes when we were of your age and level. Today also we are making mistakes, but my only take-home message is better to err on side of caution than complacency. In the last 2 years, we have seen people eating together, lunch, आमने सामने बैठे हैं, खाना खाया है, और 2 दिन के बाद समझा जो सामने बैठा था वो क्या निकला, कोविड पॉजिटिव. Then you go एकदम crazy. अरे अभी मेरे को भी होएगा, I need to test and all. What if during the pandemic wave stage you don't sit in front of each other, maintain distance and eat? एक ये कोने में बैठो, दूसरा कोने पे बैठेगा, good ventilation in the room, done. How much does it cost? Understood? So if you want to do some mistake, err on the side of caution. If you feel this sample does not have HIV in it, still wear gloves. Let the person be negative for HIV. No problem. क्या हुआ? एक glove waste गया. But it should not be the opposite. वो कितना महंगा पड़ेगा सोचो. I thought that this person does not have HIV, so I picked it up without gloves. I had a small cut on the hands which I did not know of. The vacutainer or that evacuative tube was leaking and the blood entered through the wound. Understood how expensive that would be. So always err on the side of caution rather than complacency. Summary: biosafety is safety from biohazard. Agent of biological origin has capacity to produce harmful effects, that is known as biohazard. Risk is probability of adverse health effect as a result of exposure to hazardous system. Your aim should be reduce the exposure to as low as possible. Risk varies depend on type of agent, mode of transmission, severity of illness, individual status and skills. Component of biosafety are risk assessment, containment and personal protection. Don't forget personal protection. Before COVID, it was the most missed component. People used to just take it so lightly. क्यों चाहिए personal protection? Last, do you want to know how I got these scars? Joker is saying, so he probably did not wear the appropriate personal protective equipment. Understood? So this scar, in first wave and second wave, we have seen pulmonary fibrosis. सब लोग बोलते हैं ना कोविड इतना डेडली नहीं है, सिर्फ 3% 4% ही मर गए. Ask those who had COVID, maybe some of you also had during the first wave and second wave when vaccine was not. The SpO2 is still today not crossing 90 in some cases. समझ रहे हो? So it scars the lung as well. थर्ड वेव में किसी को हुआ कोविड ओमाइक्रॉन स्ट्रेन में? अभी भी थोड़ा सा गले में खिचखिच होता है. Still you get that nasal stuffiness. So there is something known as long COVID also. So take all the necessary precautions. In few days, like I said, the masking will be removed. Still you have to follow precautions in wherever there is crowding. If you are symptomatic, do not attend gatherings. मैंने कल आइसक्रीम खा लिया रे इसलिए सर्दी खांसी हुआ है और जाता है शादी में और 40-50 जन को कोविड लेके आता है. अंडरस्टूड? इन करंट सिचुएशन इफ यू आर सिम्टोमेटिक स्टे एट होम. क्लियर है ये? मैंने कल क्या दही खा लिया इसलिए दिस हैपेंड इन थर्ड वेव. सबको था, एवरीवन हैड कफ कोल्ड, पर टेस्ट कोई नहीं कर रहा था. इज इट ट्रू? राइट? नो वन वाज टेस्टिंग ओनली. टेस्ट करेगा तो पॉजिटिव आने ही वाला है. तो क्या बोलने का? कल मैंने दही खा लिया, कल मैंने आइसक्रीम खाया, नहीं तो मेरे को होता नहीं है, मेरे को एलर्जी है इसलिए सर्दी हो रहा है. एनी क्वेश्चंस? चलो, थैंक यू.